Hey, everybody, and welcome back for another episode of The Overlay, a poker podcast brought to you by CCG Poker Radio and Paramount Social Club in Houston, Texas. I almost said Houston, Illinois, but that's not a place. Brandon, Brandon's
how
on the
come
line.
CCG always gets the first plug and Paramount is secondary?
That's a good question because our Texas,
mix it up.
Yeah, our Texas listeners are getting kind of more prevalent. They're catching up to you Chicago peeps. You're right. Episode 29, I will come out and say Paramount
I'm going to do
first.
the intro. I'll do the intro at next
You're
episode.
gonna whoa.
Yeah, and I'll get Texas in there.
Nice. First. Texas in there
people.
first. For my Texas peeps. Episode 28, Brandon. What are we going to talk about today?
I'm thinking about some content creators.
Poker content creators, and there's a bunch now. We happen to be some of them. Shout out to us.
Shout out to us.
We're not the most popular. However, we did just reach a benchmark. What was that benchmark?
I mean, it's kind of a weird. 3,500?
3,500 downloads. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
That's a lot.
That's a ton.
We're 70% of the way to 5,000.
That math moderately checks out. Yes.
No, it exactly checks out.
I'm aware. Yeah, so poker content creators. We're going to go over some, let's see, we're going to talk about possibly some other podcasts. I'm going to talk about YouTube content creators. Brandon, you're going to talk about?
Twitch.tv. It's an app that was predominantly for like video game streamers. And then kind of, the poker world caught on, and there's some pretty prevalent streamers on there that get a lot of views and have communities and play all kinds of stuff.
Well, where should we start? Where do you want to start with?
I think probably YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube's...
I think like the order of operations, I think it was like started on YouTube and then Twitch took over, and now kind of YouTube's retaking over.
Okay.
Because I think we should really probably just start with YouTube, because I just completely forgot about this dude until 30 seconds ago. You remember the Trooper? Can we just get into? Do you remember the Trooper?
Oh yeah, I still watch the Trooper occasionally.
He probably started poker content creation on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken.
And for those of you who don't know, the Trooper is he has a YouTube channel. I think it's just the Trooper, right?
Yeah, I think so.
The Trooper. I'm putting it in right now. The Trooper. He comes up first. The Trooper 97 vlog is his actual channel on YouTube, and he sells some merch. It's called Go Gamble. I think it's pretty awesome. I think that's a great tagline of hats. I think that's what kind of sold his videos to start. He's got like 40,000 subscribers. Does like a daily vlog of a poker grinder living in Las Vegas. Certainly not the glamorous life of like a Phil Ivey or like a Daniel Negreanu. He is banging out like 1-3-2-5. Really,
right. Like if he's shot taken, it's one time at 5-10.
And I don't even know if he's ever done that, to be honest.
No, like he's trying to just make $40 an hour
grinding. Yeah, grinding the small. Is that small to mid stakes? I always find those weird to say because it's like relative. Who the hell comes up with those ideas of like what's like some people that's
right. Well, you can only really
stakes.
find micro stakes online. So in terms of like live poker, 1-2 is really the smallest game besides our 1-1 game, which is crazy. But 1-2 is small. And it's very relative because some people would be like $200 to gamble, and then you got to rebuy and then rebuy again.
That's crazy town.
How would you ever? Yeah, but 1-2 and 2-5 is considered small stakes in the.
So the first poker content creator that we're going to go over is the Trooper, and we're not really going to go into it. I don't watch this stuff a ton.
Yeah, I just think that it was.
I think
really
he's like
cool
the OG.
Yeah,
one of the OGs.
Started it all where he took his camera, his phone, and sat at the table and recorded a couple hands and then talked about them, and it showed a video of him driving back to his apartment off the strip.
Yes, always discussing hands, talking about whatever, going to Starbucks, just like the day in the life of the Trooper. And he's actually really funny to listen to, and he comes off. Obviously, that's why he's got so many people following him. But let's get to the big, the big three, big two,
probably the big three.
I mean, everybody knows Brad Owen and Andrew Nemi. I never know, and I always joke when I talk with them who gets top billing, and they never answer that question. So I guess I'll just continue to go alphabetical.
Smart.
But I always say Brad first, so I don't know if that's just about to say. It's just screw up, yeah. But anyways, Andrew Nemi and Brad Owen are certainly leaps and bounds at this particular time. Beginning, middle, end of 2020, September of 2020. I mean, they are the most popular YouTube vloggers. 100%, without a doubt. If you are a poker player at this particular moment, I think everybody who has at least heard of Andrew and Brad, correct?
Yep, correct.
I mean, they are synonymous now as in the poker world as like the bigs. Your Phils, your Daniels, your other Phil. There's two Phils.
There's a lot of Phils. Mm-hmm. Phil Locke, Phil Hellmuth.
Oh, yeah. I never think of Phil Locke. I would think of Phil Ivey and Phil Hellmuth.
Phil Galfond.
But their videos, since I'm the YouTube expert, Brad and Andrew are definitely the most popular, viewed vlogs on YouTube. They're upwards of in like the 100 and I think 160, 170. I haven't actually checked in a long time. Let's see what Andrew has right now. 146,000. Mr. Bradley Owen is at 252. Wow, he is really spiked off. So, yeah, I mean, those two guys have got tons of followers, tons of subscribers. So many people watch their videos. They do very different videos, although they do work together on their meetup games, which they like to call MUGs, M-U-G for short. CCG has done one. We had one planned at the end of March, which obviously got canceled due to COVID. Paramount Social Club has had them out there once or twice again.
Twice, I think.
Yeah, twice. So they're super fun. It's an incredible time. Those guys rock. They're awesome. Brad's videos are, I feel, and again, this is just my own personal opinion on there too, the quick rundown. Brad's are much more hand analysis heavy. Lots of talking about hands. And Andrew kind of does, he does a lot of hand breakdown and review as well, but I feel like his videos are a little bit more artistic. They're more of like, I enjoy watching them for like the B-roll and all that kind of cool stuff that he does. So they both do an incredible job, but it's kind of my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think they really took the idea of like what the Trooper had and just like showing the day in the life, and then they expanded on it and played a little higher stakes. And
correct,
they're younger and they know how to market themselves
and doing a little bit more with like the video, because the Trooper's always just like him talking to the camera, like a straight up like. They call it like a floating head vlog. Like it's just him. Like,
and he's just clipping this all out on his phone, and and I mean it's great. But they took that and then moved it up to the next level.
A little bit.
And I remember when they were putting out content before they even had the meetup games.
Yes.
So then, because I think the meetup games actually originated on Twitch with some of the big Twitch guys that were just doing like, "Hey, I'm going to be in England this week. For all my followers that live in London, I'm going to get this pub."
I hate Spraggy.
I don't like Spraggy either. He's okay. But,
if you're listening, though, we think you're awesome. Whoops.
Spraggy's okay. He's not that bad. But, and it was like more like not even a meetup game, like a meetup, just like a meetup.
Right.
And then it's like they parlayed that in the idea of, hey, let's do a meetup game. And then I think it started with, Brad and Andrew, like, starting in their home area, like, hey, we're going to be here, let's play here. And then it was like, okay, we can charge people and travel.
Right.
And now it's parlay. They just keep, and then obviously their
now, in all
channel
honesty,
grows from that.
Yeah, I think their predominant business right now is obviously content creators. But again, I think they're really doing a lot now. I know that what's the casino in California? Grand something? The hell's it called?
Like Grand Valley?
I don't know. They were doing like a month.
Like Grand Valley.
They were doing like a monthly meetup in California.
Yeah.
Which I think is where Brad's hometown is. But yeah, I mean, like literally they've got it down where casinos booking them for every single month out of the year, 12 times a year. I mean, I remember talking to them about trying to book them to come to, come to CCG and come to Paramount. And it was like, they're like, wow, we're booked. So, I mean, they're crazy booked. Obviously, no meetup games have happened since March, but they'll come back. And when they do, I think they'll be bigger than ever.
for sure.
Because so many people have picked him up. I mean, Brad's exponentially grown in the last 4 months. I don't remember him being 250s a ton.
Yeah.
But anyways, you got Brad and Andrew, and then you've got a lot of other like mid-range vloggers as well. Some of my personal favorites, obviously, is Jamin Burton from the Drawing Dead vlog. His is awesome. He actually just had a new vlog come out today, how to win a WSOP bracelet. I don't know if he won one or if he knows somebody or he just vlogs about it. It's pretty cool.
So we just met him randomly because he came to the meetup game, right?
So obviously,
did you know about him before that?
No. So the first time I met Jamin was at CCG. He came up for the very first CCG Andrew and Brad mug game, meetup game, which happened at the Max August of 19, probably.
Yeah, 26?
It was last year, so August 19. 26 cash games. An insane number. It was by far the biggest event, cash game wise, that CCG's ever had, and then of course one of their bigger turnouts for number of people. Obviously, they played a 1-3 game. Typically, their meetup games are exclusively like 2-5 or 5-5, so it was a little bit smaller stakes than normal, but that kind of opens the door to more people coming in, and it's just kind of a fun thing to do. It's stuff that we had talked about. And I was like, yeah, I'd really like to stick with 1-3 and kind of make sure more people can come out. And it worked well. I mean, so many people came out to see it.
With that, it's a lot easier for the bigger guys to play down for the meetup game than the smaller guys to play up.
And a 1-3 game, I mean,
still is big enough.
It plays almost the same as the 2-5 game at the Horseshoe. Pretty damn close, considering the buy-ins are 200 to 500 at the Horseshoe and it's 1 to 4. Very comparable games. Anyways, Jamin is definitely one of my favorite guys to watch. I do always watch his videos when they come out, and that's not just a shameless plug for him, even though he was a guest host early on in the season 1. I think he's like episode 4 was Jamin Burton of the Drawing Dead. He's awesome, so go ahead and check that one out. If you haven't listened to Jamin's interview, we did an interview at Paramount with Jamin where he was doing a meetup game there. So the nice thing is some of these other guys that are, like the 40 to 60,000 subscriber range on YouTube. And then there's a bunch of them. You got Jamin, you've got Johnny Vibes. He's another one. Him and Jamin did a meetup game at CCG in November of last year. You got Moreno. He's another guy out of California. He actually did one down at Paramount, which was super fun. Those are kind of the key guys that I have actually personally met, personally talked to, found them to be, great guys, super fun to talk to about poker and in general. And I mean, it was a great experience all around for all of them. And I do watch their content personally for myself. I think it's great. So, and as a business, it's even better. So.
Yeah. Then you get Negranu's WSOP stuff.
Yep. He does the vlog only during the WSOP, which would have been this summer, but we didn't get that.
That's a daily vlog, though.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's cool if you want to live out what it's like to spend a summer in Vegas and
playing the WSOP.
Pile in $1 million worth of buy-ins.
Yeah, I was going to say, as a super high roller.
Right. And I mean, he's got the casino entrance, the backdoor employees only entrance. He's got his RV out there that he spends time in on breaks.
Yeah.
It's really, I do not personally love Negranu, but I think that the vlogs are entertaining.
I like him a lot better now that I have watched the vlogs. I feel like he's more fun. He's
definitely an ambassador for the game.
You get to see more of you get to see more of him, and he does care about the game a lot. And I think all of his crazy Twitter rants are done in his mind to improve the game. I don't think he's ever done anything negative, at least on purpose, for the game. And I'm not saying he has done anything negative. I'm just saying in general,
it's all for the good. It's well thought out and
correct.
It has its reasons behind it, not just random shit splattering on Twitter because he wants to blow up.
For sure. He's pretty awesome. Who else are we missing on YouTube's? I feel like we're going to get calls about people we have forgotten, but I think for the most part, that's kind of like the big names, like the top 1% of YouTubers. There's a ton of little guys that do it. I don't watch any of them.
Me neither. So I guess I just realized this again while we're talking, that Twitch is obviously all online poker, and like YouTube, the
it's typically more the live.
It's all guys in their live experiences and their
Well, let's talk about
hands.
that super quick before we cross over to Twitch, because I think it's incredibly funny. In the old days being in the last 18 months, last year, early 2019, a lot of casinos, like these guys had to like almost hide their phones and hide their cameras to take footage, because obviously you couldn't record anything inside of a casino. Fast forward to today, now the casinos are paying these guys to show up to make content because they find the value as the casino side that it's going to draw a lot of attention to their room. Correct?
Correct.
I mean, so many places used to be like, no, absolutely, you cannot record in here. Get out. Security,
like
smash
even
his camera.
When Trooper started, he was hiding his phone behind his chips.
Correct. It was very innocuous. Yeah. It was very like, I'm not doing anything. It's not like he was vlogging at the table. Now you get like Jamin like doing like Instagram stories at the table while he's talking to people, and it's great. Like, it's so much fun. That didn't happen before. So it's nice that the industry itself, the casino industry, the gaming industry, has embraced this new social influencers, and rightfully so. I mean, they have a huge reach, and I mean, how else do you grow the game if you don't, show it to new players?
Right. I mean, it's good that they're adapting, because it's needed for the growth of the game, or else you just have the same regulars walking to the casino every day and nobody else knows about it.
And those are the worst effing games. Like, seriously, the worst games.
Yep. You don't know how a bad game is until you walk into the Horseshoe at 1:00 on a Tuesday.
And you're the same
just
guys
like,
as always.
Why did I not just show up at 8:00? Because everybody at 8:00 has the same chip stacks that they had at 1:00.
Nice.
Because it's bad. But yeah, switch over.
Lay it on us. Twitch. I am not a big Twitcher. I don't watch a lot of Twitch.
So Twitch, the first big poker streamer on Twitch was Jason Somerville, Jay Carver. And he's, you should know Jason Somerville. I think he might have a bracelet or two.
The name sounds familiar.
You know him if you saw him. He was big kind of OG, like he was in his early 20s in 2004, 2005, 2006. Mm-hmm. Played all the WSOP events there, made a whole bunch of money, switched over to streaming. He lived in like Drake's house in Toronto, and like streamed out of Drake's house for years and played Poker Stars, High Stakes, grew his channel. And then, because of him, there was all these other guys that kind of started up, and they all kind of have their own stories. So Jason's kind of the OG, and now Jason no longer does it because he's expanded his Run It Up brand.
Oh, that's how I know him.
That's all Jason Somerville's Run It Up.
Nice.
So now he has runitup.tv, where he does like poker home game production and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He has Run It Up Reno, where he does so he again parlayed his whole channel into like a meetup game, mid stakes, kind of low stakes series, like a tour that I would say is on a grade lower than the HPT and mid stakes poker tour and that stuff, but definitely higher than like, CCG or a club or something like that. It's in between, they get. Their main event is a $500.
They're kind of the bottom
50K.
end of like the mid-range poker tours, where the standard like main event of whatever the series that they're currently doing is around $1,100.
It's going to be like a $50K guarantee,
right?
Like, it's not going to be a $500,000 guaranteed or a $250,000 guarantee, but it isn't going to be like CCGs with obviously our turnout's great,
15, 20, 25, yeah,
right. But so he's parlayed that into that, and now they're doing Run It Up. There's all kinds of Run It Up ones now. It started with Reno once or twice a year, and now I think until COVID, he was doing 6-8 events a year.
Mm-hmm.
So then that kind of paved the way for my personal favorite crew is Jamie Staples and his brother Matt Staples and their buddy Kevin Martin, which they kind of literally started in their parents' basement at 19 years old in Canada.
Nice.
Playing $10, $12, $20 buy-in poker tournaments, and then on Poker Stars, and then Matt Staples made up his own channel, and he went micro stakes, and he actually grinded up like a $5 bankroll to like $500,000.
Seriously?
With never busting it, yeah. He was. I remember when I lived in my parents' houses after college at 24 years old, watching him play $2 tournaments and grind them on Twitch with 800 viewers.
Wow!
And now he has like multiple 6-figure cashes.
Could you run down Twitch for me for a second? Because like I'm not 100% sure of how Twitch works. Is it on a delay? Is it live? Are you just do those guys like how do they do it?
They run it on a 4-minute delay. So everything that you're seeing already happened 4 minutes ago. So when you see that they have aces, if you were to pull up Poker Stars, they would be 2 hands further on.
Right.
In the tournament. So that way nobody can watch their stream and snipe it. So it's live. It's just live on a delay.
Yeah, small delay.
It's a little
4
weird
minutes
because
enough?
4 minutes is usually enough, yeah. You don't want it to be too far ahead because then you got people in chat that spoil it because the chat's live. That's like when you interact, it's kind of weird because when you interact in the chat, it's live, but then the person doesn't like see it until 4 minutes in the future. Like if I say, hi, Matt Staples, like in the chat, he will not be like, hey, what's up, Brandon 219, how you doing? Like he won't say that on the stream until 4 minutes later because there's the delay. Even though he said it right when he saw it, that's 4 minutes delay. So it's a little weird with the chat.
Yeah.
But I mean, they build these communities and they do free rolls and they do giveaways and they do online home games. And, I used to really honestly spend 20 hours a week probably consuming.
Wow.
Just watching their show or watching their streams. And like the Sunday grinds are so fun. And Jamie Staples would always play the high stakes stuff. And Kevin Martin he built up a bankroll all the way until he had a couple 6-figure cashes, and then he went on to Big Brother Canada and he won it for like $50K, and then he retired from streaming. But since COVID, he's started up again. So there's all these like different stories, and there's all these different time frames where like Jay Carver owned like the 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. in like Central Time. So they would have to like stream early, stream late. You had kids from the UK that were streaming. It was kind of like you had to kind of pick your time slot, come up with a schedule, and find a group of people to watch you. And then their subscribers, which is how they make all their buku bucks. You can subscribe to support their channel. It's $5 a month, and they get like $3.50 or $4 of that subscriptions. Well, I would watch a Jamie Staples where he has a deep run. He would get 800 people to subscribe for him during that stream.
Wow.
And just make $3,200 in subscriptions for the day.
It's gross.
Yeah, and then there's donations too, and you could support a whole bunch of different ways. But anyways, it's really, really, really good stuff. And they do a fine line between entertainment and like teaching you the game and like explaining like their reasoning behind things. So it's really a good place to like learn. It's not just entertainment. And it's streamer dependent. Some streamers, they just play and they entertain you and they don't really teach you. Then there's other guys who are like, I mean, my 3-bet, this guy's VPIP is 20%, which is too high. And I'm going to 3-bet here with this because I'm blocking this combinations and blah, blah, blah. And they really explain exactly what they're doing, which helps you become a better player.
Yeah, I always feel like watching the vlogs that I watch, Andrew and Brad and Daniel Negreanu doesn't really go over hand analysis, but it's their thought process, which has opened me up to thinking differently about the game, because it's so rare that you like get a legitimate story. And here's what I mean, and this is what I like watching the vlogs so much. It's like they get to like, it's recorded, so they can go back and watch it and then kind of like even go deeper into what they were thinking at the time that they made these different moves, and like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Maybe I should have known. You know what I mean? Like it's so many different interactions that go on, which I think are awesome, because normally when a person starts telling me about a hand, if they're a good player or not,
the cards, the flop,
I zone out because it's like it's bullshit. I don't know. And the guy had like a jack or a Jack, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I had kings, and then it's like I lose so much interest in hearing the story because like I don't know how believable this stuff sounds, and then it's just really a bad beat story. And I don't really want to hear your bad beat story, bro. Like I don't care. But it's nice when you get to see these guys live talking about it. And I say live, you know, you get to see a recording of the hand. It's like Andrew's really good. They'll end up like pausing and talking about it quickly, and then like, all right, and then this is what happened. It's neat. I think it's a great way to consume
get access
content
into their brain a little bit.
Yeah, which is insane. And you know it's like legitimate versus like it's just a story. Like I can visually see like this is the turn. This is how the betting came out. This is exactly how long it took the other player to raise, call, bet, or fold. Like so many different things happened. I don't know. It makes it's so much more believable and better content. So I've always enjoyed it. I think it's great.
Yeah. I need to get in Lex Veldhouse. He's now the biggest streamer. He was always
any
like
of these guys.
Lex Veldhouse. Come on, he was on High Stakes Poker. You would definitely know who
if I saw his face.
For sure, you definitely know who he is. And Elke, remember Elke Gross Spellier?
No, I do remember that name.
Yeah, he streamed for a little bit too, but Lex is now like the face of Twitch because these kids that ran it up, Buhairlo and Spraggy even and Easy with Aces and Kevin Martin and the Jamie Staples and his brother Matt Staples, they moved on to bigger and better things. I mean, remember Matt and Jamie had that weight loss bet with Bill Perkins?
Yeah, for sure.
Which is really cool.
He's got a crew too. What's his crew called? The Thirst Lounge?
Thirst Lounge, yeah.
It's just a cool ass name.
It is. And they get Dan Bilzerian on there to play some high stakes ACR on their yachts and stuff. And, he actually did a stream boat thing with Kevin Martin and Jamie Staples and Matt Staples where they teamed up and the four of them streamed from their yacht like all week. And then they ran into a hurricane and had to cancel. And it was really cool. But there's all kinds of people and they had their community and they made their money. And, when you're 23 and you don't want to do it forever, you move on to like Jason Somerville's 35 now, 36. He doesn't want to be sitting in his basement streaming 12 hours a day every day anymore. Like, so you move on to bigger and better things. But Lex Veldhouse, he plays the 1Ks, the 5Ks, the 10Ks. If you get like the spring championships of online poker, Scoop, or some of the other like big stuff on Poker Stars, he will be playing all the high roller stuff, 10K buy-ins, $25, $50 PLO. I mean, it's really, really fun to watch him. And he's good and he's entertaining. Yeah, Lex Veldhouse. If I had to recommend you guys to watch anyone, I mean, he's definitely the mainstream guy. It's really kind of cool to scroll way down and, watch some of the guys that have 12 viewers and check them all out because sometimes you'll find a hidden gem in there. They all started down at the bottom. But if you're going to go on twitch.tv, download the app, search poker, Lex Veldhouse, and Kevin Martin if they're streaming.
Are your go-to picks?
Those are my go-to. You will not be disappointed. Watch a couple hours. And it's nice because you can just have it on in the background. I just watch it on my Xbox in the background while I'm playing poker or something like that. It's just on the TV. And you look up when he's got aces and it's like, oh, cool. And then sometimes he's grinding the tournament. So then last thing really quick, I know I'm rambling on, but now the Twitch guys, if you don't want to watch a 12-hour stream, they now cut up their stream into a 20-minute highlight video and then put that on YouTube.
Really?
So instead of watching, if you miss like a big Sunday where Jamie Staples is playing a 10K tournament and all these 1Ks and a really cool schedule, and maybe he has a deep run, instead of rewatching the whole 12-hour stream, which is on there for Twitch, you can watch the replay. That's also a good thing about Twitch is you can search Jamie Staples and watch his old stuff from 5 years ago. That's just
kind of like YouTube, where it's like once it's up there, and you can watch it again.
Yeah, and like they just have a random like something's playing on his channel 24/7. It might not be live, but something's playing.
Right.
But so they cut it up and they make these YouTube videos and it cuts and cuts and cuts, and it's every big spot, and it's every race, and it's every cool hand, and it's every time they caught somebody bluffing. It's every time they got a big bluff through, and you kind of save the monotonous oh, I got 3 deuce here. What am I going to entertain you about for the next 2 minutes?
Right.
While I wait for the next hand. And they play 6-8 tables, so there's always something going on. But it's you can always just catch the action on YouTube, and they all have YouTube channels now too, which they don't make money on. They say they just do it for, to help grow their Twitch
content.
Stream.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you get 100,000 views on YouTube, but you paid a editor and you spend 8 hours on it. You ain't making any money on it.
No,
you're just doing it to grow your community.
It's advertising.
Yeah.
We did forget about
Twitch world.
We did forget about one big one on YouTube, and maybe a couple of small ones. We didn't mention Live at the Bike. Do you watch any Live at the Bike stuff anymore?
Oh yeah.
I don't think I do as much.
I always watch them on Twitch live.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I always watch the Live at the Bike
on YouTube.
And I watch like the little clip videos where it's like, so-and-so wins a $1 million cash game, or whatever, $4,000 hand, just like random stuff.
Right. They clip out their whole entire thing into a 7-minute clip, or the top 5 hands of the day,
right?
Or huge bluffs. Because even those live hands are 7-minute hands when they're tanking and there's a $40,000 bet on the river and a 2-minute tank. So one hand is a YouTube video.
Right. Which is great, because I'm good for about 3 to 4 minutes, and after that, I'm out. All right, last one to round us up on our poker content creation episode. Besides the overlay, which you listen to religiously, Brandon, do you listen to any other poker podcasts?
Poker podcasts? I've been searching for a good one, and I can't find one. I really can't. I can't get into the Madison one.
I listened to a couple of those. I listened to the Mike Madison one because there's a Mike Postel interview where he interviewed Mike Postel, right when the whole cheating scandal kind of happened.
Yes, I remember that.
So I did listen to that, and I tried to listen to a few more from Mike, but I couldn't get through it. Same thing with Barstool has a podcast for poker specific, or a poker specific podcast called Cracking Aces. That was pretty good too. It's more kind of like you and I, but obviously because it's Barstool, they get some crazy guests.
I mean, we can get
main event champions and stuff.
On here next week.
We could. We choose not to. He's always calling. I'm like, dude, bro, I'm busy. Brandon and I want to talk about YouTube.
Right. We want to talk about Kevin Martin. We don't want anything to do about you.
Right. We don't want anything to do with you, jerk face. Well, cool. I really don't listen to any other poker podcast. I've tried. I subscribe to a bunch, but I don't actually listen to them, to be honest.
Chicago Joey had a good one, but again, I listened to I watched their podcast on Twitch because they would always do a live.
He's done so much that his podcast now is basically just a YouTube channel and a Twitch channel. I don't think he releases it anymore on just the audio. It's always a, more of a vlog than it is a podcast. So,
oh man, we did miss a big one. We missed Doug Polk.
Yeah, Doug Polk's cool. I'm not a huge fan of Doug Polk. I don't like his humor.
He got really big and then kind of fell off really quick.
And I remember he started the crypto channel, and
yeah, it was really fun to watch him play 50, 100 PLO though.
Yeah, he hasn't been uploading very much lately.
No, I think he's just, he's burned out. These guys, you make $1 million. He won a bracelet. He won the high roller, the 111, the little one drop for $2 point something million. It's why am I going to go grind on YouTube to try and make 4,000 this month?
Right.
I mean, I know it's
it's cool, but
grand,
the same token, it's meh.
These guys got bigger things that they want to do.
It happens in golf all the time. You can see these guys like your Rory McIlroys, who as a young superstar is holy cow, this guy is going to dominate for so long. He's going to be so good. He's winning so many tournaments, and then he gets major sponsors and paydays, and then it's man, it's hard to get up and go to the driving range and practice for 8 hours when I've got $200 million in the bank. They're
same thing with.
I was going to the pool.
Spieth was I thought he was going to be
yep, so
good, and I mean now he's just another guy. I mean,
not even now he's a shitty guy.
I know.
All right.
So I don't know where we're at, but the last thing I want to say, I've been getting into TikTok, guys. TikTok shows these clips of guys playing poker on an RFID table, with the RFID equipment, the Live at the Bike, the stuff that we have here at Paramount.
Really?
And CCG, but listen to this. They've been playing with headphones in, really loud music, noise canceling. And then there's microphones on them. And it's called I don't even know what it's called. I need to look it up. But it's the players explaining themselves at the table live in action. He's like, he could have, because nobody can hear each other. It's like silent poker or something.
That's super weird.
It's really cool because the guy's like, well, I mean, he could have a lot of combo draws and his range is pretty wide here. So I'm going to call with ace queen high and reevaluate on the turn and blah, blah, blah. And you like hear him, he's talking. This is live at the table with the guys next to him. And then he calls. And then the turn comes and it's on the other guy. And he's like, all right, well, the guy could have a lot of ace high here. So I'm going to keep barreling with my draw. And then he barrels with his draw. And the other guy's like, I still think he has a draw here. And like, they're like, explaining themselves what's going on in their heads every street in live.
It's another
next
one.
To each other.
Yeah, it's another one we've forgotten. It's Solve for Why is another poker YouTube channel.
Who's that?
Solve for Why. It's
Berkey?
Matt Berkey. Yeah. He does some stuff as well. Like meetup game type things. I've never actually been to one or talked to him about doing one, but I have seen them do the same thing where it's like they're at the RFID table and obviously we know what everybody has and they're like talking about why they're doing the thing that they're doing, which is neat. It's a very unique way to see what people are doing.
It's almost like you're in everybody's mind all the time.
Correct. It's cool.
Which is a cool way to consume the content.
Literally as you go.
Yep.
Train of thought. Well, cool. That's going to do it for episode 28. We wanted to give you kind of a rundown of what Brandon and I like the best about, different poker content, what we watch, what we don't watch. Clearly, there's a lot of different things that we do watch and a lot of stuff that we're like, oh, shit, forgot about that guy. So clearly those are guys we don't watch. But yeah, thanks for listening. As
so
always,
much stuff out there, guys.
Yeah, hit that.
So much stuff.
Well, and not only that, there's so much content out there to consume that it can benefit your game. I mean, even to throw our own shameless plug in there, when we were doing the Thursday night poker for CCG Poker TV, which was, you and I doing commentary over people playing in either tournaments or cash games, like. That was good content for the idea of it gets you a way to think about the game and how it's played by different people. And I think the more you can kind of watch content and get different ideas of how people are interpreting their hands and the other players and what ranges they're putting them on, like you become a better player and it's entertaining. Like it's fun. I don't think there's any other reasons to not watch it. It's entertaining and you're going to become a better poker player. Like shit, sign me up.
You don't just have to study or read a book or watch.
I can't do that.
That's one way to learn. But that's like the college kid who doesn't go to class and just reads
like a range
the whole
chart.
book and takes the text.
Yeah.
Test. I mean, there's other ways to do it. You can meet up with a bunch of friends and make games out of it and learn it that way. And that's kind of what this is doing. You get to be entertained, but at the same time, you're in their brain and they're going to teach you stuff that you didn't know, all while entertaining you. It's kind of like a slam dunk. I don't know why. I'm kind of probably going to fire up some Twitch after we get off this podcast.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I just noticed Jamin just dropped a new vlog today. I just got the update, which you can always do on YouTube. You just click the bell button and then you get updates to your phone directly when they come out. So, support your local poker content creators, myself included. Hit subscribe, rate, review. It takes only a few seconds and it is an incredible amount of, organic searchability. Is that a word, Brandon?
Which one, organic or searchability?
Searchability.
They're both words.
Yeah. I don't know if they go together, but it really helps us out, the overlay itself, and it helps us search better and will bring more players to us in general. More players means bigger prize pools, means better payouts for everyone included, and that's always what, we want to bring you. So, Brandon, lead us out of this one.
You aren't going to find many nits in the content creator world. So don't be a nit.
Don't be a nit. I still think we might change the season 3. Don't be a nit by the overlay, a poker podcast. Thanks for listening. We will catch you next time. Bye, everybody.